Wow, what a week. 3% swings. You can't lose your mind on big up days or big down days. You have to be disciplined and stick to the plan. Are we getting improved breadth? Yes, we are, which means more stocks are participating. Fun fact, again, this is for informational use only. None of this is advice. Apple, Nvidia, this was as of yesterday's close. Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft alone contributed to 91% of the gains in the S&P 500. So, as I was stating, hey, we're being held up by a few names. We saw that very clear. We did get a breadth thrust, more stocks participating in the last couple of days, which is good. Here are the moves I made. We were negative a little bit of the week for the week, and you're like, how does this happen, Jonathan? This was a great week. Not that simple, okay? Not that simple. Let me show you the move I made, and I think you'll see how difficult this was. So, Monday, okay? Here's Monday. The key level was 39.70. I got out at 39.76, and as you can see, Tuesday went much lower than that. So it was the right decision at the right time. I was in the leaders. The leaders were the QQQ. And on Monday, which is right here, I saw a problem. And this concerned me because we lost the 5-day and the 10-day. Okay? So we saved a lot of money by doing this. Now, here was the problem. On Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, a gap up, which I cannot control. I cannot add after the market close. Unfortunately, we gapped up. We skipped 39.76, 39.93. Right here are the levels. Get above. Look at the top right. Get above. This was last week. We went above 39.93 and 40.12. We did all of those levels, 3-level skip overnight on nothing. It's called a fake breakdown, and you usually get a big move out of it. So I'm thinking, okay, that's unfortunate. So you can see here, it basically, after this gap up, it went sideways all day. Here's the overnight session, went sideways all day, not great risk reward. We were overbought significantly right at the open, okay? Really didn't give you a great opportunity, okay? Come Wednesday night, Thursday morning, another gap up, sideways all day, didn't really give you a great opportunity. We are overbought severely at this point. Sideways all night, gap up, boom, did it again, okay? So is the risk reward here great? To be honest with you, when you see 3 gaps like this, 1, 2, 3, you got to be careful with risk reward. But is this good? Overall, this is really good price action. Do I think that we will hit 4,200 in this month? I really do. However, there are some things that I'm seeing that give me some pause, because there are some concerns. The last time, this is just, it doesn't mean it's going to happen, but I'm just saying, when you're this overbought, do good things happen? Usually not. Usually you get a test somewhere. We've had 3 days straight up, as you can see here. Straight up, no tests, 0. It's not like this period where it's up and down tests, you can get in. 0 tests, I mean 0. Very difficult, very frustrating. However, breadth is improving. This is a good sign. So we finally got the cross, okay? This means that more stocks are participating. As I stated earlier, a few stocks were kind of holding us up. And when I saw these names give up, which they did on Monday, I'm like, this is a problem, right? So it was the right decision at the time. The problem was it really did not give you any great entries throughout the rest of Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. It just kept going. It's very frustrating. You have to be disciplined. So at this point, we have 33% in, okay? It may gap up. I'm hoping that it does. But let's be real here. Every time we get above 90, which we are in the RSI, above 90 here, has this been good risk reward? Every time. So I'm hoping for a gap up. First dip probably does get bought, but you got to be really careful. So overall, I think that this does go higher this month, but usually, for example, when the 50-day crossed the 200-day, we had the same situation, straight up move. What did it need to do after that? It doesn't mean it's going to happen. You just usually get a test somewhere, okay? So overall, we had a positive month, thank goodness. But was it what I wanted the last 3 days? Absolutely not. And it's so frustrating and very difficult. So the only way you could have done really well during the last part of this week is to be holding overnight. And that has not paid off at all in the last year. The normal trend in an uptrend is that overnight moves are your biggest moves. That is new character in the last 3 days. So there are some really good things. Missed the move. However, probably needs some consolidation here. I mean, this is a straight up move. I love what I'm seeing. The QQQ is an absolute beast. I mean, check out this chart. Okay. I mean, we're above the February highs. Now, are we extended? A lot of times it's important to be objective and say, how far are you above the 5-day moving average? Okay, this is another kind of test. When you're the 5-day moving average is this orange line. When you're this far above it, you got to be really careful because it doesn't take much for people just to sell. I mean, like, hey, I had a great month. I'm just going to wait for better prices. Okay, doesn't mean it's going to happen, but look, the last time we got this far above the 5-day moving average. We did gap up, tested lower. So in short, we have a short week next week. I'm going to tell you right now, I have never in my career done well during short weeks. People try to push during a short week, and it's not a good idea. So overall, price action is really good. Breadth is improving. However, is the risk reward great here? Not at all. I think that's very, very clear. So the summary is this. I think that there is good risk reward for the rest of this month, but I don't think right now is a great time to be pushing hard. We have some on in case it does gap up and does decide to go higher. I mean, could we potentially get up to this trend line here? Very possible. Very possible. So overall, we held all the level, this perfect price action, but we did have a big scare Monday, Tuesday, and the rest was history. And that's really frustrating. I wish I could go back and change it, but I look back on this, the only way I would have been able to get in was to be buying during overbought conditions. I mean, you look at this short term, almost every day, we were overbought for most of the time. So overall, it's very difficult. It's a difficult market. So we're not going to get over the tips of our skis and just press hard and say this is going to take off. It very well could, and that's why we have a little bit on. So overall, it was a very frustrating week because I did everything in my power. The good news is this. Again, the only reason we're trading this strategy is because we've been in a downtrend. Okay? The trend is starting to change and breadth is starting to improve. So it will come to a point where I will hold regardless of what happens. And I can tell you I need that for my psyche because I'm tired of trading in and out, watching every second. So things are improving. This is good. And we will be merging quite soon. And I will be getting some help from the performance standpoint as well. So overall, great breadth, like what I'm seeing, just a little bit cooked, a little bit extended here. So have a great weekend. Love you all. I know it's frustrating. How do you think I feel? I'm up all night watching. Imagine this, like I'm seeing Tuesday night, I'm seeing 39.70 break. I saw 39.93. That was my buy. That's what I wanted to buy. It crossed. I'm like, oh crap, this thing's going to go. And it just kept going. And we literally went up 150 points in 3 days, which is over a 3% move, which on a fake breakdown, which is what this is called, fake breakdown right here, that's usually the average. Like if you look at this amount of gain versus this amount of gain. It's very similar. So it doesn't mean that we're gonna just go lower here. If we keep going higher, I will have to add more. But is the risk reward good? I think you see what I'm trying to say here. This move was tough. It's one of the toughest I've seen in a long time, but breadth is improving, and that's good. The 80% rule that I'm seeing is there's an 80% chance that sometime during this month we hit 4,200. Does it mean it's going to be a direct shot? No. It will not be easy to get to there. It's the way it works. And the more elevated we are, the higher the risk is. When you're this overbought short term, it makes it much more difficult to hold 100%, right? Because if you add here and you get this move, that's a 3% down move. You know what I mean? So you got to be really careful. It's not that simple, but it could be a week where we slowly start adding. It's not going to be a fun week. I can tell you that right now, because it's going to be a week where we're going to probably test lower eventually at some point. Eventually, it doesn't mean we will, but eventually we're going to test some levels, and that's where you're going to have to probably add, and that's where the market will probably just keep going up because everybody missed the move. It's just the reality. It's how it works. So have a great weekend. Thanks, guys.